Hey, everybody, welcome to the Thursday, June 26, 2025 version of Speaker Co-working. I am Ron Story, the head of membership at Speaker Hub, joined by Angela Lewis, who's over at Customer Success, and a lot of our lifetime members, along with, I see Maria's in here, our head of design. Yeah, this is where we meet every day so that speakers from around the world can ask questions about getting on more stages, getting paid more, and making more money. The main goal of Speaker Hub is to get speakers to pay, get speakers paid. Other companies, their focus is to get you to write your speech and all that stuff, but they don't help you make no money. So you come over here when you want to start making some money, and we help you to do that. So any wins to start off with, and then we'll get into Angie's announcement. Angie's retiring from Speaker Hub um, today, effectively in 53 minutes. No, I'm just kidding. Um, any wins or anything? Look, Camille was upset. Camille was like, she quit.
I just got here.
All right. No. Any wins so far? Any wins so far?
I'll share I'll share two. One of them was again, I my introduction to you, Ron, is really through the 5 day challenge, and I worked my way through that. Um, and one of the things you shared is, you got to send the connection, but
Mhm.
then you got to follow up, right?
Yep.
And so I spent yesterday following up on a bunch, and I had, one lady come back and she's like, "Oh my gosh, I would be happy to have you on my podcast," where she didn't respond the first time. So
Yep.
thank you for that, right? You gotta
100%.
put those reps in. The second potential win, it's not quite a win yet, but I was coaching somebody and she wanted to find out, she took an action to go find out what leadership conferences were in her town because she wanted to go to one. And so she sent me back one that I was not aware of. And I took the language that I've been using to pitch podcasts from Speaker Hub, just
Mhm.
pop that into an email, tweaked it for that particular conference, and send that off. So using the AI was really helpful for me to get that out.
Oh, 100%. AJ did a great session maybe when was it? Maybe 3 months ago. AJ talked about speaker one sheets because a lot of people still use the one sheet to send out to people. And AJ talked about using a template, but customizing the one sheet to the event. So when you know what the event is talking about, then you just take those topics and put it on your one sheet. Um, and that's one of the ideas behind the when you get booked or when you get the meeting and it's in conversation, we have the button that says prepare. And we give you the 5 topics so that you can go ahead and prepare for that. Now, here's the cool thing about that is that the meeting may be set. Immediately, you can, once you get the meeting set, go through prepare and then send them your documents because they'll usually say, can you send me over something? Click prepare, get the 5 things and use that to make the document, right? Because that shows some forethought on your side that you're more prepared than everybody else, and you're giving them relevant topics. So high five, Camille. You're following the system. For those who are new here, who are watching on YouTube, we don't teach anything at Speaker Hub that we haven't already lived. So everything that we talk to you all about is something that we have empirical data on to show that it actually works. I don't like when people give me a theory. And I'm like, oh man, all you got to do is this. And I'm like, you ever done it? No, but I heard. Well, dude, I don't want to talk to you no more. Right? Tell me what you've done. If not, point me to somebody who's done it. I believe that a lot of shortcuts in every business can be taken if you just talk to somebody who's already where you want to be. Right. And instead of trying to figure it out on your own, you can almost buy shortcuts. I haven't found any profession where I couldn't purchase the knowledge to get ahead. Does that make sense? So just keep that in mind that, buy the shortcuts. Any Angie, you still co-host? Because I see a bunch of people waiting outside. I don't know if
I
did
don't,
I didn't make you
I don't
co-host, my bad.
know.
That's my fault. I think when you left, I forgot to put it back.
Okay.
Any other wins? Any other wins so far?
Yeah, I had a win. Now, this one is a bit unrelated to speaking, but it does tie into it. So the reason I wasn't here yesterday is I had to go home and watch my siblings. And because of that, was running around, couldn't join. And it gave me the idea to make a video on how you need to be able to adapt to unforeseen circumstances. Like things will happen in your life. You need to be able to bounce back from it. And I usually use that in speaking where I'll have a great topic on my head and I might stutter a bit, I might blank out, but then you get back on track. So I've also been doing even more follow-ups, been getting more meetings booked, finished some more podcasts, and one of them came out yesterday. So I've been spending the whole day going through it and making clips.
Yeah, that's important. I think one of the biggest things, Lawrence, you have such an advantage because you're getting started so early. Can you imagine if he just keeps this up for the next 5 years, how many freaking podcasts he's going to be on and how many speeches he will have given? I mean, you have such an advantage, man. I wish I was a little bit taller. I wish I was a baller. Yeah. Look at that. You may not know that song. That song's older than you, Lawrence. But I wish, I would have gotten started at that age, right? So high five to you, man, for doing the work. Any other wins? Any other wins? Andrea, good to see you back here. Valencia, good to see you. Maria, Jasmine, Yvette, John, Kevin, Jadika. Any other wins? No other wins? Cool. Ange wants to make an announcement, and then I will get into my topic for the day. So,
Ron, I think you know what this announcement is going to be. Today is Ron's birthday, Ron.
thank you. I appreciate it, guys.
Happy birthday, man.
Feliz cumpleaños. We won't sing. I mean, we could sing, but
Happy birthday.
That's funny.
Happy
birthday. Thank you for your birthday.
Happy birthday.
I appreciate it.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday. Well done.
Have you all heard like the new birthday song?
It's so good.
Y'all heard people sing?
Happy
Go ahead and sing it,
birthday
Ange. Go ahead.
No, you got to play it. It's going to be better. I don't know the
Yeah.
words. It's so
Yeah,
new.
I've only heard
Can you
one
play it?
group sing it, and they must be like in a choir or something, because
It's so
nobody
good.
else is singing this. And I thought it was
It's the best.
let me see if I
Yep.
it's this
Over a
one.
million views.
When the black people get together and change the birthday song, I missed the meeting.
I want to say happy birthday to you. I want to say happy birthday to you. Yeah. I want to say happy birthday to you. I want to say happy birthday to you. Yeah. Now close your eyes and make that wish. Think about it. And blow out your candle, close your eyes and make that wish, think about it, hey! And blow out your candle, close your eyes and make that wish, think about it. And blow out your candle, close your eyes, close your eyes and make that wish. Let's go! Hey! 1, 2, 3, go!
Happy birthday, Jack. Yeah, 14 you don't play. You about to graduate and 2 step away. Hey. Go ahead and dance. Go ahead and get it. Turn and twist that set. Please just don't spit it.
So I thought that was cool. It's a new
Look
version. Look at my son. He's crazy.
Pose dancing.
Any excuse to
Dancing
dance.
to the birthday
you know?
song.
When someone has an attitude, you know what I say to them? When is the last time you've danced?
Exactly. Dancing is so
You wanna say hi?
important.
Say hello.
Hello.
Oh, she wants to speak
Said
English today.
hello.
Look at that.
Oh.
This is a moment in Speaker Hub history. This is Amaya's life. On your birthday, she said hello. That's a big deal.
Okay. Genesis, Stephen. No, no.
Like
Hola.
nothing. They just came to hang out.
Okay.
Oh, that was so cute.
Okay. Cierra la puerta, por favor. Yeah, she brings out English every once in a while. But today she said, hello. You know, her favorite sentence now is, what's your problem? What do you mean, what's your problem? What's your problem? I'm like, hey, look. What's
Don't
your
let her
problem?
watch TikTok.
Bruh, she makes
Too late.
TikToks, which is even more problematic sometimes. But yeah, but thank you all. I appreciate it. It means a lot. You know, another
So
year.
you 21 again?
No, I'm 47, man. I'm, you
47.
know, I got.
I just hope you don't catch me. That means I'm dead.
Hey, well, you know what? I hope I catch you. I hope I catch you. I'm trying to outlive everybody. So, but no, good to see everybody. Thank you again. It means a lot to have such a cool community of people that allow me to be myself with the way that I try to help you guys. You don't require me to put on a suit and act a certain way. And he says this, and I can't believe he would say that. And I get to be me. And hopefully that's empowering enough to allow you all to be you also. So today's Thursday. I won't be here tomorrow because I'll be traveling, but today we'll do it. Ask me anything that we normally would do on a Friday. So we'll just open today up to be like what we normally would do on Friday, which is ask anything, any questions you have around speaking, business, whatever. I'm willing to ask. I'm willing to answer. We got a pretty special announcement. We'll probably make it next week, but we have entered the first stage of the agreement to acquire another one of our competitors. Until they send me the signed document back, I can't mention it, but that'll be done. Well, the paperwork's out, so my part's done. We're just waiting on them to do their part, and we'll be adding about another 13,000 members to Speaker Hub in the next 7 days. So the job of a CEO of a company is to be an asset allocator. And it's not I'm the boss. No, you take the assets of the company and you allocate them, whether they're human resources, capital resources, or intellectual resources. You have to be able to move those things around in your business. And I just want to be a great example of that because Robert Smith didn't come public about what he was doing at Vista until he was the richest person in the world. And they asked him about that. They said, well, why didn't you ever come out? Nobody ever knew you existed. He said, I didn't want anybody to know who I was until I had won. And I think that's cool, but that don't help the guys who are aspiring to go down the same path. So I wanted to take the opposite route and just talk about our acquisitions and what we're doing as we're doing them, because you don't have to be Robert Smith in order to buy a company. I've made a history. I purchased 6 companies without spending a dime out of my own pocket, right? And I don't talk about that publicly because I think our competitors would hate that. But I've spent 0 money out of my own pocket to buy this will be the 7th company we've done in the last 6 years. We do it all through owner financing and figuring it all out, but it's usually no money out of my pocket. So I can go to the banks or whatever and acquire these things. But I can show you all how to do it too. With some different creative strategies, I'll tell you an easy way. Like if you find a company that's already doing well, and Stripe has a thing called Stripe Capital. Now it is not the cheapest money on earth, but it's enough money. It's cheaper than an investor, right? So if you go get an investor, you're going to give up equity, which means if you give up 10% of your company, they get 10% of the profits forever. Well, Stripe interest rate's too high. Yeah, but they ain't forever. Okay. They're not forever. So let's say there's a company that's doing $200,000 a year, right? Which $200,000 a year is about $17,000 a month in revenue. Stripe will normally loan you 3 months worth of that without a credit check or anything, just based on your Stripe account and your revenue in Stripe. So I could go to Stripe and just get $55,000 right off the bat, and they'll send it to you tomorrow with no question. Your QuickBooks will do it also. QuickBooks, if you are doing your accounting with QuickBooks, they already see how much money you're making. They already see how much money the business is making. They'll usually loan you 3 months worth of revenue. Now, don't quote me on that, but that's usually what it is, 3 months worth of revenue. So you can take that, and then now that's your down payment, right? That's the down payment on the business. Usually most people, most banks or whatever, they're going to ask you to have, depending on what type of SBA loans you use, anywhere from 5 to 20%. But if you work in some owner financing, you may not have to come up with that much. And yeah, you're able to go into it with income. Here's an example. Imagine if there was an apartment building and it had a waiting list of 200 people. It was packed out. The apartment building is already rented. Every apartment in the building is rented. They have a waiting list for 2 years of people wanting to live in that apartment building. You recognize that and you go to the bank and you say, hey, there's this apartment building called the Batiste Bay Manor, right? And I want to build the Diggs Manor across the street. It's an open lot. I know they got 2-year waiting list. We just gonna copy the same building, same design, same amenities, and then we can take that overflow, right? And the bank's gonna ask, who's gonna do the construction? Oh, well, I mean, I'm gonna pour the concrete myself. They're gonna be like, huh? Who's gonna do the roofing? Well, I'm gonna do the roofing myself too. Who's gonna put up the windows? Well, I'm gonna do the windows. Who's gonna do the HVAC? I'm gonna do the HVAC. And what do you think the bank gonna say? No. They're gonna say no, right? Why they gonna say no, Camille or Valencia? Why do you think they saying no to you?
Because you're not the expert in all that stuff. So that investment is already going to go sour.
Right? So let's turn that around. How many of y'all have ever been the head of product at a company? How many of y'all have ever been the head of marketing? Been the head of sales? Been the head, you see what I mean? So we go to the bank and we ask for money for our startup companies where we don't have any experience doing roofing or drywall, or it's easy to see it when it ain't you, right? It's like, oh, well, no, I don't know how to do roofing. Yeah, we don't know how to do accounting. I don't know how to do marketing. I don't know how to do this. So we go to the bank to borrow on a new business. It's really hard because you don't know how to lay the foundation, put up the walls, put in the windows, run the electricity, do the plumbing. Does that make sense? Now, let's say that same scenario. I'm driving past the Batiste Bay Manor and I see someone standing outside crying. And I said, hey, lady, are you okay? She said, yeah, we've been living in Europe. We've owned this company for years. My husband named it after me. I don't plan on ever moving back to St. Louis, so I got to sell it. And I said, give me your card. I know somebody that's interested. And I take her card and I go back to the same bank. And I said, hey, you know that building that had the 200 apartments and the 3-year waiting list? He said, yeah, we ain't loaning you the money for the one. No. Not the one across the street. The one that's already built is for sale. I talked to the owner. She's willing to sell it to me. What do you think the banker's response is going to be then? You think he's a bit more interested than when it was the vacant lot across the street?
Definitely.
Why is it?
Because that business or that building, it already has a track record. It's done. It's just getting it.
Yeah, the roof is already up. The foundation is already there. The leasing agent is already downstairs. The people inside are already paying rent to pay the mortgage. Who's going to pay the mortgage in the new business? Because they don't have any customers while they're building it. Sounds very familiar to starting a startup, right? You quit your job. You got all these expenses to pay. You paying for Speaker Hub, ClickFunnels, all these different things, but you don't have any customers. So the advantage is to buy the business that already has customers because the customers pay off the debt. And the business becomes free. Is this making sense?
Angela's in the waiting room.
Oh, my bad. Hi, Ange, get out. How
Her
you even
internet.
know? Oh, she sent you a message?
Yeah.
Yeah, because I mean, I don't check the chat or messages while I'm on here. All right. Somehow she got kicked out. All right. But is this making sense? Right? So I want to talk about that a little bit because I think it's one of the most overlooked things. There's a great book by a guy named Walker Deebles. I probably have sold 2,000 of these books for Walker because I talk about it all the time. But Walker has a great book called Buy Then Build. And let's say, for instance, I wanted to open up a birria taco truck. Birria tacos is like the new thing. like the new hot dip your cheese taco in the sauce type of thing. If I wanted to start, I make great birria tacos. I wouldn't open up a birria taco restaurant. I would call every restaurant in the city that sells Mexican food and try to buy them. And then just add my birria tacos to the menu. So then even if people don't like my birria tacos, they still like the enchiladas and the other stuff that the restaurant was already selling. Do you see how that minimizes the risk of what we're doing? So you're able to buy companies no different than buying a car or a house, a piece of real estate. Real estate is just a housing business. All the same tax advantages and rules that go with real estate pass over to any other type of business. So you'll be surprised how many people have newsletters that are in your niche. That has thousands of people on that newsletter that are tired of the newsletter. They don't know how to monetize it, right? They're trying to sell ads to monetize the newsletter. But John can take that same newsletter and sell his course, advertise his own stuff to the same newsletter, and have a very sustainable business, right? One of my friends, he buys old podcasts. He calls podcasters that have podcasts that haven't been growing very much. They may have 300 people, and it really has no value because it only has 300 downloads. I think he's done 60 of these in the last 12 months. So take 60 times 300. Now he just combines all the feeds together. He has 18,000 listeners on the same podcast now because he's bought so many of them and combined the 400 people. Tell them, hey guys, we're still going to be doing the podcast, but we're going to move it over. We're going under a new name. Boom, here's the new link. And he just keeps doing that every week until everybody's moved over to the new podcast, right? But so there's a strategy. ¿Quién necesita yo?
Ya quiere la tablet, porque su tablet se casó. Yes.
Good. So,
Hey, Ron,
but do you see that idea? Go ahead.
I want to just share with them just my experience watching you without going into detail. Because Valencia asked, "How do you find out what's for sale?" And this was amazing because me and Ron was literally on the phone, and he was just talking about a business he had been looking at. And he said, "I'm a writer," and just like he tell us to connect the podcast, while we were on the phone, he literally just wrote him like, "Yo, let's talk." I mean, it was a little more than that, but it was basically like, "Hey, tell me about your business. Are you interested in selling it?" That was it. And then he was like, "Yo, I'm gonna just show you along the way how the process goes." So this has been like crazy to see because he's been telling me all along, AJ, this is how you do it. You just write them. And a lot of them say no, but every now and then one of them say yes. And I've been able to watch the entire process from the initial text message to now. It's been nuts.
Yeah, I mean, if you think about it, Ange. So I'll show you a few of these. I'll pause the video because I don't want this public, but I'll walk you all through this because I think it's valuable to see that we just overcomplicate things. Ain't no magic. It's just work, right? One second. And we go here. One moment. But I'll show you what we've done, or what I've done, I should say. Go ahead. Ange, you tell the story about last year, how we got Speaker Hub. Ange was
absolutely.
And I was pissed, but go ahead.
I was visiting Colombia. It was in February, and we were talking about getting more traffic to PitchDB and the lack of SEO. And so we looked at the companies that had a lot of traffic, and Speaker Hub was one of them. And Ron was like, you know what? I was in conversation with this guy about 4 years ago. I'm going to hit him up. It's like, yeah, okay, it makes sense. So he just opened up the email, and the last email was literally from 4 years prior, 2020. And he said, hey, was wondering, are you still interested or open to selling? Let's hop on a call. The guy replied back the same night, and here we are. They had conversations, went through negotiations, and here we are. Yeah, it was literally just a follow-up email. I think what one of the things that I've seen with Ron that's been incredibly rare is patience. So typically, if something doesn't work out immediately, we move on. But I think, Brian, you said all the time, I'm just willing to outwait the person. I'm willing to keep going longer and wait for it. So even if something doesn't work out immediately, I think it's just a great lesson that it can work out over time.
Yeah, let me
And-
pause this and I'll
Oh,
walk you through a couple of these really quick. Oh, go ahead, Ange. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to cut you off. Finish and I'll
no,
show
I
you.
didn't know we were still recording. Oh, because
But that can
you're
be
the
on the
host.
recording. I don't care about that. I can pause the, I don't want to show
Okay.
the,
Will you make me co-host again? When I got kicked out, I lost my privileges.
all right. All right. Do you have anything else before I go or no?
No, that's all.
All right. So let me pause.
With us and breaking it down to us on how a lot of the things that we might think are so overly complicated are really so simple.
Mhm.
You just have to have an incredible amount of patience and persistence. Like a good example of this is, I'm going to make this short because I know I can go on these long tangents. Yesterday, somebody DM'd me and they said, "Hey, Lawrence, I want to get into speaking. Can you explain to me, like, how do I do it?" So I sent a couple messages back and forth with them, and then they stopped wanting to do it because they realized it's not as, it's very easy, but it's not very fast.
Mhm.
Like
100%. Yeah, it's
you're
not a
not
get
going
rich
to,
quick.
like the whole, you said this often, but the whole hype on the internet of 6 weeks later you'll be a $100,000 speaker. No, it's
Mhm.
more like maybe a couple years in. And that's assuming you're really good at it. Like I
Yeah,
didn't get my
exactly.
first paid gig until maybe a year or two into it. And
Mhm.
even then, it wasn't a six-figure speaker kind of thing. It was more like, I got $200 for you.
Oh, 100%. But here's the great thing. I like this. We were talking about this the other day with a group of friends, and the person said, "Man, I just don't feel motivated." And my response was, motivation is only needed when expectations didn't meet reality. So you really only need to be motivated, meaning you just need an expectations reset. Because the reason why you got demotivated is that you set a goal and you didn't reach it. So now you don't feel like doing it again and you don't know how to reset. So if we just learn to set more realistic goals. So if you talk to somebody that's already where you want to go and you say, "Man, I'm going to do this in 6 weeks." And they're like, "Nah, it took me 3 years." You say, "Wait a minute, why did it take you 3 years?" And they explain to you why it took them 3 years. So then a year into it, you're not crestfallen because you didn't get it in the 6 months that you thought you should have gotten it in. But you realize, dude, I'm 1 year in. I only got 2 more years to go, and I'll be wherever they are, or I'll have the skills, or I will have accomplished this. Usually we don't have someone that's been down the path that's willing to show us the path because they're usually competing with us, or they don't even know how they got it. They don't realize that, yo, man, you got 1 million followers because you twerking. It ain't because they care about you speaking. It ain't, right? You got your shirt off in every photo. They follow you because of that. They're not following you because of a skill. They're following you because you go to the gym. Now they buy your course and they realize you don't know what you're talking about. And most of the people that are following you were looking at your photos. They weren't there because they were interested in buying what you had to sell. So we try to be the most obvious version of leading from the front. Here's what I'm doing, I'll show you. Here's what I've done, I'll show you. Versus, I got this idea and I heard this was hot, so we're gonna start selling that. Nah, that ain't how you win in the long run. That's how you get burnt out in reality. So, you only need motivation when your expectations don't match up with the reality that you're living. If you don't believe me, anybody who's ever played video games, I never needed to be motivated to play the video game for 9 weeks. I would try to beat Contra and Super Mario Brothers every waking hour on the weekends, playing with my, Altered Beast and all the rest of these games, Halo. We playing them for hours and hours. Why don't we need motivation for that? Because we know that it would be a stupid game if we could beat it the first day that we spent $75 on the DVD. Imagine, Kevin, you bought the first time you played chess, you were a chess master. It's a stupid game if it's that easy.
It wouldn't be no fun.
Exactly. But the person who says, hey, I've been playing chess for 20 years, right? Now, what's the difference between the person who's played chess for 20 years and the 9-year-old chess prodigy? Their coach. It's the only difference. The 9-year-old chess prodigy, they had a coach that probably was a grandmaster that drilled them for months and months, hours a day to get them to the level that they are. I play all right chess, but I ain't as good as my friend Jeff. Jeff has played with some of the best grandmasters in the United States. He kicks my ass all the time. I ain't gonna mention what he do to AJ, but he kicked my butt all the time.
Practice beats talent. Practice will always beat talents.
Yeah.
Practice and dedication.
Well, but practicing the right things. It's
Right.
not unusual that you see so many father-son NFL, NBA, MLB players. You see what I mean? Like I saw Serena playing tennis with her daughter. I'm like, oh yeah, this girl, Olympia, whatever her name is, this kid's gonna be amazing. You see Tiger Woods with his son. Look at his son swing. Look at his swing. The coach matters. Your coach really does matter. Right? And it ain't, oh, well, Tiger Woods bought a course. No, his dad was out there every day. Stuff you can't get from a course. The course is the gateway to prove that the guy knows what he's talking about. But I need hey, here it is. David Price has been more valuable to me than any other coach I've had in business. And we don't even meet that much. But the time when we spend time together, he's very straight up. He's like, look, this ain't that hard. But he was the CEO of BF Goodrich. So he's like, dude, you're doing this is pennies. One of the greatest things he ever told me, let me pause this because I don't want this on